In fact, the idea of being here at the Freedom Theatre, it's really related with a unique story and heritage for the Freedom Theatre. We talk about all the time in Palestine, about the conflict, about dispute, about the occupation, and about the fight and the way of fighting all the time. Fighting Israel against the occupation, against the oppressor in the world. And we, as a part of the international movement, talk all this time about the justice, about the fair, about the human rights. And we are part of all of this sometime because we consider the problem in Palestine, it's really linked with all the global problems in the world. Because the occupation, this the face of the colonialism, the face of this kind of injustice is really not related just with Palestine, it's related with the humanity in general. And that's what we talk and focus about it. For that, I believe when Arna, as Jewish woman, she decided to come to Jenin and to change her opinion and to stand with the Palestinian in the 87, it's not come by chance. It's come because she believed, she changed her mind when she discovered where is the right for what's the kind of side, what the side she can stand and support it. For that, the Freedom Theatre come based on this idea. It's not come just for creativity, it's not come as just arts or cultural center. It's focused about political, social issues. And when we look for Palestine, for whole the story of Palestine, for the narrative about what's happened exactly from 48 until this moment, it's give you the, let me see that, some signs for what you want to do in the future. For that, as a person, when I decide to join to the Freedom Theatre, because I think there's new ways or creative ways I can use it to represent myself, talk about myself, and to continue thinking with the common dream with my people. And I believe in this way as what we see like soft power, how we can use the theater to expression, talk about the identity, talk about Palestine, talk about in the occupation by this way. So, you know, we are in Palestine under occupation for all of these years, and it's like waves, the relationship between the person and his homeland, it's like waves. Sometimes you feel, yeah, you will do something, you will develop, you will make something, but the occupation came to destroy all of that. Because all the dreams about development, about focus for professionality and creativity here in Palestine, when Israel attacked you, when Israel arrested you, when Israel killed people, neighbors around you, it makes you feel by sad and bad way. And for that, all the steps, when we reach for something, Israel destroyed and we return to the first step, unfortunately. And that's what's happened here with the Freedom Theatre. The Freedom Theatre started in 2006 with Giuliano Merkhamis, and after that, in 2011, unknown person, he killed Giuliano. Israel and Palestinian Authority don't know until this moment, between quotation, who killed Giuliano. We continue by, we are fair, we are scared. Who killed Giuliano? Who killed the founder? But we continue because we think, yeah, we have something. We have something really important, and we need to achieve this message for Giuliano and Arna before him. And we continue. The occupation came again, arrested some people, the occupation killed some people, and some time just make curfew around you. And here when we talk about culture, talk about arts, for the people they are under this oppression, under this attack, the people they ask, really you need from us to focus or to develop or invest in cultural side, and we think, yeah, that's important. But the people, because the Israel, the occupation changed their priorities for the person. It's not like, when you change your, priorities, you don't focus for yourself as an individual. You need to focus with others, with in global, with the groups, and that means you will hide and ignore yourself. And so the occupation changed the priorities for yourself. Why you need to find space for joy, for fun? Why you need to improve your education or your knowledge? Because you think, why I need to do that? In the end, maybe Israel will kill me, maybe they will arrest me. I don't need to spend any time to achieve anything there, in that space. And for us, we think our main mission, in fact, to let me see, to rebuild a new generation, a trust in themselves, build that he can achieve what he want to do. He think about the plan, how he can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, we don't have any support. I mean, it's not all the time the support. It's not meaning money. It's to talk about people, they push you, the Palestinian or the authority push you, they need you to continue. But unfortunately, our friends around the world, they push you to achieve something. We talk about democracy, about human rights, about a place really in very sensitive situation. With sometimes with the conservative thinking around you, and you need to achieve something out of the box. And how you can achieve that? You need support. I will repeat it. It's not just money. It's not just financial support. You need people around you just to say, yeah, we are with you. Unfortunately, after all of that work from 2006, 2011, when we lose Giuliano, then we continue with Jonathan Stanzak, the general director, the former general director from Sweden, and continue the great work with the kids, with the youth in Jenin and in Palestine in general, with the great play, talk about Palestine, talk about the normal life, the daily life. It depends on the narrative, in the oral history from the people, oral stories. Unfortunately, in 2002, when we faced Corona around us, in all the world, Israel continued in their procedures to annex the Jordan Valley, attacked Jerusalem, arrested some people from different areas in West Bank, attacked Gaza sometimes, and you raise your voice just to ask the word, we need your help. The EU came and he decided to support us. How? They give us conditional and points, articles, political articles, to ask us to sign on it. Just to say we are, as a Palestinian, terrorists because we are face the occupation. And it's not logic, it's not fair, it's not, that makes us crazy. And when in the time we ask you to support us, you came with this conditional funding to ask us to sign, to consider the Palestinian fighters, parties is part of the terrorist. It's not logic. We don't accept that, in fact. We reject that. And we said, if you need to consider us as Palestinian under occupation, terrorists, you must to consider the right radical parties in Israel like that too. Like these religious parties in Israel, they just raise the title to kill the Arab and kill the Palestinian. You consider us, because we are just fight to get liberation, terrorists, and you don't consider the same another parties, not they are good, and the urbanization group, I don't know. And for that, it make like a big shock between the Palestinian NGOs and the Palestinian Cultural Organization and EU and the friends in Europe, in fact. And for that we try to change their opinion and their decision, and we continue. But unfortunately, it's not just related with the EU. There's some countries from Europe, their commitment with the new policies with the EU, and that put us in very difficult situation. Because, we depend on our work in the grants and funds come from our friends around the world, and suddenly we don't have it. And for that, it put us really in very sensitive and in very difficult situation. But we decide to continue. Yeah, we take a hard decision inside the organization when we ask our former colleagues, the employees, to leave their position because we try to fix and continue. But that's what they try to do. And here I have a question. What do you need if I want to close the Freedom Theater? If I don't get money, for example, to continue, I don't get support. If I close this place, maybe it will change to be the opposite place. If we talk about freedom, we talk about the opposite of freedom. Culture, our center, not cultural center, the opposite of culture. Because, there's no empty in the life. There's some part or some color will occupy another color if you don't have something to do, if you don't have mission. The life must be all the time full with the action, with the idea. It's not just ideological. It's really if you leave your space, there's another person with another thought will come to occupy your space. And that's what we felt about her, the Freedom Theater in Jenin, in the north of West Bank. There is no cultural centers, there is no cinema, there is no space for children or youth to expression, just to talk, dialogue. No space here. And you need from us to what? To put all of these difficulties in our faces. My story, my relationship with the Freedom Theater, in fact, just when I'm in the Freedom Theater. It started with Arna when I was kids. I joined to her program, the Childhood Center in Jenin Refugee Camp, and joined to her informal and an academic program for kids, because at that time Israel decided to close the school in '89, and that's helped us, in fact, to continue our study, our knowledge, complete it and improve it. And then I was member, when I grew up, I joined to the university, I completed my study in political science and journalism at Birzeit University. Then I returned as a researcher with the UN for sometimes for several years. And then I joined to the Freedom Theater in the board, and I was in the board. Then Israel decided in March 2015 to arrest me for 1 year. The main criminal, the main point against me in the Israel court, it's because I'm activist and I talk with the young people about Palestine and about liberation, about freedom, and about all of that issue. And I spent just 8 months there. For example, when you hear this story, maybe you think it's really sorry story, miserable story. You will feel sad because I spent all of this time there. I lose a lot of issues. I lose my job. I miss my family for all of this time. You have something, you lose it in the normal life. But what I did, I tried to deal with that. How I can continue this period, and I feel with the energy, with a good feeling. And for that, I decided to wrote some stories about what's happened exactly in the jail, about the relationship between the prisoners, about what the famous and oldest prisoners in the jail thinking about Palestine and Palestine question. And all of this issue come in my mind because I think how it's important to put highlight for the people already they don't have light, and how I can just focus about them, about what they think, about their priorities too. Because you are in the jail, you are changed to be like normal human, to have like something with a new program in your life. As a person, you wake up early, then you want to start, you have something in this time, then this time, it's like, it's like military college or university, whereas the people, you must commitment and be like, in the line, and everything will be correct. Especially with a prisoner, they are already joined or commitment with, or they have different thoughts and ideological in the same jail. So it was like experience for me. I learned a lot about the another life. Something I don't know about it before, and I know about it now. I don't like to return to there. Sure, it's not good. It's not good to live there, but it's good to know what's going on exactly in that time.